The name of the company is Senior Home Transitions, and they do that, but they do so much more as well. One of my favorite people here in Louisville, no question about it, one of my favorite guests is Patty Nazer, without a doubt, because she does really, really good work. She's been doing it over 10 years. So Senior Home Transitions, it is what it says you are, but you're more than that. Tell folks who aren't familiar about your business, Patty.
So our initial business model for the last 10 years has been placement, and we help people. It's a free service where we help people find the right assisted living, memory care, even skilled care, help them find in-home care, and it's a free service. But over the years, you know, we've become dementia care practitioners, we have nurses on staff, and we have been doing so much more. And during COVID, we have been asked to do so much more for people staying at home that we've decided to add some of these services to our litany of things that we do, because some people have wanted us to come in and do it all for the people that are in home, not just give them the resources. They've wanted us to manage it and coordinate it. So we decided to add that to our services.
Yeah, before we get into that COVID conversation, and I do think it's important to talk about, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, this is a question I ask a lot of my guests here, but I think it's important in your industry especially, is what separates you from the rest? You mentioned all these different services that you offer. Is that what it is, Patty? Is that?
Well, a little bit more than that. So we're very hands-on. So there are companies out there, national companies, that you go online for placement services. And what they do is they email you the names of all of the facilities they have contracts with. That's not what we do. We don't sell your name. We don't, you know, tell everybody your name and address and phone number so you get inundated with sales calls. We protect your information, and we take you to these facilities. We take you and communicate with them and negotiate rates. We help you get set up for success so that you're not spending too much money. We don't place you somewhere that we know you'll run out of money in 6 months. You know, there's all kinds of things. Like, people don't know that in southern Indiana, Medicaid pays for assisted living where it doesn't in Kentucky. So having those relationships and that knowledge sets us apart. And the fact that we're very hands-on. I actually have a horse trailer, and I think I use it more for moving furniture for folks than I do for moving my horses around. So we get really involved and do a lot of hand-holding. And because we're dementia care practitioners, we can help with those hard conversations. How do you get someone who has dementia to understand they have to move? You don't. You can't make them understand. So there's tips and techniques that we help families with to get this person to understand that they're going to go to this place and get taken care of. Maybe not tell them it's going to be forever, but you know, you don't want to be cruel and get them upset. You want this to go smooth for the family and for the resident. You
mentioned those hard to have conversations, and that is a skill set, because for instance, how do you tell Dad, hey, Dad, no more driving, please, or Dad, we're gonna take a look at a senior care facility, you need help. Right. You can help with that as well, right, Patty?
Absolutely. And if someone has dementia, that conversation is very different than if it's someone who just needs help and is being stubborn. I actually wrote an article, does your parents suffer from SSS, stubborn senior syndrome? So some people think it's just being stubborn, but sometimes it's a little bit of dementia and they're not able to reason through that process. So the conversation might need to be different depending on, you know, what we're dealing with. So we do that assessment to find out what is the approach that we need to take, and we help them have the hard conversations. Sometimes it helps having someone come in who's an authority figure in that field instead of your kid. Even if your kid's 60, they're still your kid. So having someone else come in and have that conversation a lot of times helps. And we also do family mediation. Sometimes the kids don't agree, and we come in and have that discussion and do a lot of education so that the kids can get on board and be on the same page.
Patty, you do so much. I think you're the go-to spot for any issue you may have when it comes to seniors and that transition or questions. And this is interesting. So, okay, you knew it was coming, so here it is. COVID conversation. Let's talk a little bit about it. And you're around it 24/7. So how has COVID affected senior facilities?
Wow. So a lot of folks are wanting to stay home right now, and even though they need to make a move, they're not wanting to move because they're scared. And that's very reasonable. There are some facilities that are doing a great job keeping it out. There are some that are not doing such a great job. So, you know, not knowing which ones those are can make it very terrifying. Some people don't have a choice. Some people have to make a move. They're just not safe at home. But a lot of folks, and that's where our new services come in, can stay at home with the proper support and proper coordination of all the services. We go in and do home assessments. We do safety assessments. We help coordinate the care. We communicate with the physicians. We make sure, just for example, we have one, actually two right now, families where the spouse is taking care of a loved one with dementia, and they're like, it's just getting to be too much. So we're saying we need caregivers to come in, not because your spouse needs it, because you need a break.
Yes.
And then we set that up. And then we also set up, here's your daily plan. We've got activities in the morning. We hook them up with resources for activities they can do that are fun, that are engaging on the person with dementia's level. And then we also have the day totally planned out. One gentleman sundowned really bad, and every day at 5 o'clock there was a blow up. And we scheduled his day so that mealtime was actually, the big meal of the day was at 2. He had some downtime between 2 and 3, and then a light meal at supper. And about a week into it, the wife said, it's working beautifully. We haven't had any blow ups. That also included some training with her, because if he said something to her that he would tell her, the stuff's going bad at work and it's your fault. Of course, he's not working anymore. He just thinks he is. And she would say, no, I'm not that person. I said, no. You don't argue with him. You just apologize. You don't have to be right. The win is peace. And that's what I want everybody to understand. The win is peace and happiness in the home. And during COVID, when you're keeping folks at home, having those tools and those techniques are going to be really important for your sanity, as well as the comfort and peace of your loved one.
Senior Home Transitions. Give them a call today. As you can tell, they can handle any challenge that you have. They look out for the caregiver and the senior in your life. There's the information on the screen. Patty, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, coming up here, we're going to talk, well, before we talk about anything, let's talk about giving away some tickets. Lights Under Louisville, over 3 million points of light. You're going to enjoy it. It says holidays all over, and you can go 24/7. It is underground, folks, so it's always dark. It's always beautiful. Free tickets, 888-800-9283. Be the third caller. And coming up here, Becker Law Office is more than just injury law. Thank you for joining us on Wave 3 Listens Live. We'll be right back.